Welcome, Rachel. Thank you so much for presenting to us today.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah, you did Cause Camp a couple of years ago. I got every time I get a chance to see you in person, it's just awesome.
Thank
And
you.
we were talking about our summers, and you have some fun ahead. And going to take some time in Costa Rica. I just got back from Maui, so we're doing some good stuff for the summer.
Yes, I love summer.
Cool. Well, I don't want to take a lot of your time, but Rachel did send over a bio today, and I just wanted to share with you that she would one day like to have Michelle Obama's arms, Kristen Wiig's sense of humor, and the nerve to talk like Amy Schumer. I love that. Those are all amazing women. All right, with that, Rachel, I'm going to let you get started here.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys all for joining us today. Randy and I are so thrilled to have you. My background is in fundraising. I started a nonprofit organization to empower girls in math, science, engineering, and technology. And I've spent my whole career in fundraising. That organization is called Girlstart. It's still thriving today, 21 years later. So I learned everything I know about fundraising in the trenches, and I have the t-shirts to prove it. I absolutely love fundraising. I think that we as fundraisers have the best jobs in the whole world because we get to find out how people want to be significant and how they want to make the world a better place. And then we get to bring them opportunities to do just that. When I'm a mom of twins, and when I'm not raising my kids, I'm training people to be better fundraisers. I do a lot of custom training and board retreats. I love doing keynotes, speaking at conferences. I love doing webinars. It's so much fun, and I'm so thrilled to be your guest today. You can learn more about me on that website, rachelmuir.com. And this is what we are going to be talking about today, my fundraising friends, how to win your donors' hearts, minds, and wallets. And I'm going to start off by giving you some tools to find, great tools just to find out if your messages are getting through to your donors. I'm going to give you some really great discovery questions that you can use to have deeper, more meaningful conversations with your donors. I'm going to talk to you about a few things that great fundraisers do differently so that you can do those too. And I'm going to give you some time-saving tools to make it all easier. We've got time at the end, and I can see the chat if you want to type in any questions that you have to the chat, and I will cover those. Super thrilled to have you guys with us. It's always fun to do webinars. I have a lot of goodies that I'm going to be showing you in today's webinars. You know, ebooks and templates and guides that are free that you have access to, and I have all of them up at rachelmuir.com/guides. So if you want lots of goodies, I've got stewardship plans, 12 tips to build a creating a culture, how to build a culture of philanthropy. I've got a guide on how to get the visit and nail the ask, how to do a donor stewardship event, and oodles more, but that's where all of those are. This is one, we're talking today about how to win your donors' hearts, minds, and wallets. And a lot of the great discovery questions, some of the great discovery questions, but mostly how to get the visit, because the really hard thing is just getting the visit. But I've got lots of strategies in here to help you get the visit. This is just one of the goodies, but you are welcome to have that. This summer, I have been doing a course to help people get their boards on board and help people get their boards fundraising. And I have that going on the month of June. So if you are interested in getting your board on board, and you know, I have spent my career in fundraising and have had many different boards. I've had many boards when I was running Girlstart, and I've also served on many boards. And I think it's one of the hardest challenges executive directors and development directors have is managing a team of all volunteer leaders. So if that's something you're struggling with and you want a lot of done for you templates and help, I'm even doing one-on-one coaching as part of this course. If that's something that is a challenge for you and you want a life preserver, you want a floaty, you want to ride those waves and have some smooth sailing or turn a ship that's gone off course around, that is a resource to you. And there's lots of goodies in it. So we are going to go ahead and just get started. And the bottom line when it comes to how to win your donors' hearts, minds, and wallets, the bottom line is that it is all about the donor experience. If there's anything we are not ambivalent about as Americans, it is that we want to have an outrageously fantastic customer experience, and your donors are your customers, and you have to give them a really great experience. It isn't an afterthought. It is, relationships aren't optional in fundraising. They are the very definition of what fundraising is. So I encourage you to think about, what kind of experience are we giving our donors? And if you aren't sure, mystery shop your own organization. Make a donation right now to your organization, and it could be a small donation. It could be an online donation. You could call remotely and pick up the phone and try to make a donation and see what happens. Is it a good experience? Is it something that would make you give again? Does someone answer the phone? Are they knowledgeable? Are they warm? Are they helpful? Critique your own experience. If you can't do it, have someone go undercover and make a donation to your organization, and think about what is the experience like. So I'm going to start off with some free tools, and these are a couple tools that I think are really great to do some legal stalking, so you can find out more about if your messages are getting through. Before I show you these tools, I just want to mention, because I've got training boards on the brain, and when I talk to people about their boards and I talk to introducing board members into fundraising, I tell people, look, the last thing your board members want is for you to circulate a list of names around a table of people that you want to know and have them initial their names next to who they know. That it doesn't, you may have some board members might be open to that, but not all board members will be open to that. So if you have a board member who is very well connected, it can be really helpful for you to get to know who their contacts are. And it's really, really easy to do that on LinkedIn. You can actually export a CSV file of who their contacts are. You go to My Network, you click on Connections, and then over here, Manage Synced and Imported Contacts, where I have this number 3. You can actually export a CSV file of contacts. So not all of your board members will be open to doing that, but some of your board members might be open to doing that, and that can be a really meaningful way for you to expand your network. But not all board members will want to do that, but some board members will. So that's one handy tool that you can use to expand your network. I don't know about you, but I really, really like knowing if people read my email or not. And I want to know that in a non-creepy Microsoft Outlook read receipt format from 1980. I don't want people to know that I know whether or not they read my email, but I do like knowing if they read my email. So these are a couple tools to help you know if your message is getting through to your donor. One tool is Banana Tag. Banana Tag is free. If you can send up to 5 emails a day for free with Banana Tag. And so choose your 5 emails wisely. Like, don't send it to your husband or someone that you know is going to read your email. But you can send up to 5 a day for free. And it's a handy tool. So when you're, following up with a donor or sending a grant proposal, you want to make sure they read it. It'll let you know if they read the attachment as well. It'll let you know each time they reopen it. That is a really nice tool to have. Now, let's say they still aren't responding to your email and you want to be even more irresistible. This is a tool that I really like. It is called bombbomb.com. So I don't work for bombbomb.com. They are in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I like to joke, I find the tool so you don't have to. I don't work for BombBomb, but I think this tool is amazing. And I have been a customer of theirs for like 3 years now. And so what I do for a living is train people to be better fundraisers. Naturally, if you're going to hire me to do a training for you, it's going to help if you've seen my face and you've heard my voice. And of course, if you've seen me present, then you're like, okay, I know her, I like her, she's funny, she would work well with my staff, she would work well with my board. This is, she's my kind of person. So, but if someone doesn't know me, then they need to get a sense of, hearing my voice, seeing my face. So this is a really great way to do that. And there's an app, but you just use your desktop, you just use the camera on your laptop or on your desktop, and it will allow you to shoot video, and they make you this adorable email header. You can see this branded email header that I use, and one for my friends at Care and Share Food Bank in Colorado Springs. For anyone who is managing a gift portfolio of donors and trying to get visits with donors, this tool is a game changer, because not only do you find out if your message is getting through, but you can really put a face to your name. You can shoot videos in the field. These don't have to be like professionally produced. What you can see, what I do, I have a little chalkboard. You can use a whiteboard, and I write the person's name. Like if I were sending, if I were following up with Randy about being a speaker for Cause Camp, I might send him a video email and say, hello, Randy, on my little chalkboard, and then be like, oh, it was so fun to chat. I'd love to be one of your amazing speakers for a fantastic Cause Camp. Keep me in mind. Here's some things I'd love to talk about. So it's just a way for you to cut through the noise and conveniently find out if they got your email or not. And you can set it to send you an email every time they look at it, which, allows you to call your donor when you send them an email and say, oh, we'd love to have you come out. Randy, it would be amazing if you came out to Girlstart. We're having this behind the scenes tour. We really want you to see it. Or maybe you send like a sweet video thanking him for a donation. And every time he watches that video, even if it's 6 months later, you get an email, and then you can call Randy and be like, Randy, I was just thinking about you on my way to work. And he was like, what? I was just thinking about you in that awesome video. And you're like, yeah, I know. I mean, you don't have to say that, but it's a really neat tool. This is I did a keynote for the Girl Scouts. They had like a fundraising training as part of their national convention. I'm a Girl Scout mom and a lifetime member. And this was one of the development directors at the training. She said, she was trying to get in with a donor forever, all caps, and she sent her a video email using BombBomb. You can do a free trial for like I think it's 2 weeks. She sent her a video email, and immediately she got a response. Now, interesting, worth mentioning, this board member was in marketing, so of course, not only is she going to be anyone would be wowed by this tool, but this board member, this might be a tool that could really help this board member in her career as well. So she really, really liked it. This is a video of my friend in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Carissa. And Carissa is with the National Strength Training and Conditioning Association, and she uses BombBomb, and she loves BombBomb. She took me to their offices. When I was there doing a training for the United States Olympic Committee a couple months ago, and she uses it, and she thanks her donors. She just shot this video of her, hey, this is what it's like inside the gym. Just wanted you to see it. And she got this super sweet tweet from her donor. I've donated to many causes, but only one thanked me with a personal video message. So I think it's a pretty amazing tool. This is one video, and I've got a link here where you can watch this video, a bit.ly link, bit.ly/Geneva thanks. So this is one of my students, and she had a really successful fundraiser. This is like a private Christian school, and she had a really successful fundraiser, and she wanted her donors to feel the excitement on the kids' faces when they came to school on Monday morning and they were told how much money was raised at the fundraiser. And let's be honest, it's hard to get your donors to come to your location, to come to your school, to come to your office. It's hard. They're busy. They have busy lives. They have jobs. They have kids. They have aging parents. I mean, they have a lot going on. And so the more you can take your programs to them and get them to get the experience the sights and the sounds and the smells and those wow moments, the better. So she shot this, and she shot first, she's in her car and she says, hey, we're going to go inside. You know, we were going to tell the kids how much money we raised at the fundraiser. How exciting is that? So you get this behind the scenes with her, and she's in her car and she's just got her phone on, and then she goes inside. And first, she listens to the like middle high school teacher telling those kids, okay, they're high school students. They're a little more subdued. They don't like jump up and down and squeal. But then she watches the primary school principal telling them how much money is raised, and these kids are just going crazy. They're screaming, they're jumping up and down, they're cheering. It's adorable. It's completely irresistible. You can watch it there yourself. So she did shoot these on an iPad using iMovie. So she had 3 separate clips, really easy to string together using iMovie, that comes with music in iMovie. So as long as you have an iPad, you have that and you can use that. But that's another great example of someone using video. My advice when you're using a tool like this, again, you can do a free 2-week trial to test it out. My advice is be short and sweet. Like, and most of these, you want to keep it to like 60 seconds. So I'm going to give you guys some really great discovery questions so that you can have meaningful conversations with your donors. I truly believe that every moment with your donors is a chance to do great discovery. So I'm going to give you oodles and oodles and oodles of awesome discovery questions. And I also have like an ebook where you can download all of these goodies. I'm gonna get ready, buckle your seatbelts, because I'm gonna give you like 20 awesome discovery questions. So these are kind of like some first date discovery questions, like your first meeting with them. You know, a few things that you can ask. You know, I love asking people what motivated them to make their first gift to you. I also love asking them of all the amazing charities that you support, uh, and of all the generous gifts that you've given, what's the most satisfying gift you ever made and why? What made it so satisfying to you? I like asking of all the great organizations you support, who does the best job of keeping you involved and how? I think that's awesome, because not only do you learn more about other passions they have and other causes they support, but you also learn how those organizations communicate with your donor. So you get a sense of your competition and how you're stacking up. What legacy do you most want your giving to have in the world? That's an awesome question hinting at a planned gift. I also love, what do you love about what you do, because it's just so open-ended, and you know, they could answer that in so many different ways, and however they do answer it gives you a little more insight into their personality. If these are kind of interesting, these are kind of like icebreaker type questions. You know, if every job paid the same, what would you do for a living? If you could have dinner with anyone, living or dead, who would it be? I actually just read recently, and these aren't the exact same 36 questions, but I believe it was a psychologist, there's a study out of like, ask these 36 questions and you can make anyone fall in love with you. My goal here isn't that you get donors to fall in love with you, but I want you to win over their hearts and their minds and their wallets, and finding out what is important to them and finding out what's meaningful to them and getting to know them on a deeper level. I mean, you know, I talk a lot to people about how to get your board fundraising. And fundraising can feel scary to a board member. They might have an incorrect image that they're quote unquote hitting someone up or taking something away from someone. But sitting down with someone who they admire, who has led a rich and interesting life, and learning more about what they value and how they want to make the world a better place, that sounds like time well spent. And every visit with your donors is a chance to do really great discovery. And it's up to you to be prepared with really great questions. So I'm going to give you a few more questions, but my advice is pick like 5 of your favorites. And I'll give you a link where you can download all of these. Pick a few of your favorites and practice asking these questions for your friends and family, so that and figure out which of these questions feel the most authentic to you, what appeals to you the most. No matter what you ask, and no matter how your donor answers these questions, building a relationship in fundraising is about taking what's meaningful to someone else and making it meaningful to you. So I'll give you an example. I had a donor who had a only child, and her child was going away to university. And the mom had the worst case of empty nest syndrome I've ever seen. But I think I'm going to have pretty bad empty nest syndrome because I have twins. So that's going to be like ripping off a Band-Aid. But this mom was really just melancholy and weepy about her daughter going away to college. And I wrote her a card that I mailed so that it would be in her mailbox the day that she came back from dropping her daughter off at college. And I just acknowledged the importance of this milestone. And, I know you just opened the front door, and I know that the house feels different today, and that it's always going to feel different. And then I talked about her daughter and what an amazing woman she was, what an incredible adventure she was about to have, what an adventure she was going to have, the mom. And so because it was meaningful to her, I made it meaningful to me. And that did more to cement and deepen our relationship than any other thing. So, you can think of these questions in that way. It isn't so much the answer, it's what you do with the answer. It gives you an opportunity to deepen the relationship. Every moment with your donors is a chance to do really great discovery. And what you find out from asking these questions, the sky is really the limit in how you deepen your relationship with them. So this is where you can download all of these, rachelmuir.com/discovery. You can download all of those questions. I'm a discovery junkie. I really like asking great. I think getting to know. I love getting to know people, and I just want you to use every moment with your donors to make it count. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what awesome fundraisers do differently. I'm just going to give you a few quick tips, and then I'm going to give you some more goodies and some more tools, some more digital tools to help you win your donors' hearts. So the first thing that great fundraisers do differently is they are laser focused on where they can turn the greatest profit. There are a lot of bright, shiny toys out there to distract you as a fundraiser. Um, and the bottom line is you have an obligation to your donors, to your clients, to your board to use your fundraising resources most efficiently. And I'm not saying here, kill all the events. It's tempting, but you have to evaluate your fundraising strategies thoughtfully and economically, and it's worth thinking about what strategies bring in the best donors, what strategies are the most affordable and cost effective. And major gift fundraising does boost the highest return on investment compared to other fundraising strategies. It costs money to do events, it takes time, and it also costs money to do events. It costs money to do acquisition mailings. I'm not saying that acquisition isn't part of your strategy, but Starbucks knows that the average customer is going to spend $14,000 in their lifetime at Starbucks. I am going to spend more. Because I really, really love coffee. And I know Randy loves coffee too. He was telling me they have a new like coffee machine, a fancy one from Italy. And I was like, oh my gosh, this just sounds amazing. So I'm going to spend more than that. But Starbucks can make thoughtful decisions and wise investments on acquiring customers, knowing what that ROI is of that customer. And this is your job at the end of the day. This is from the late, great Jerry Panas, who wrote Asking, the top-selling book in fundraising ever written. If you want something to add to your fundraising library that's short and sweet and will give you that boost and that spring in your step to do an ask or go out on a visit, it never fails to delight. It's a great book. It'll take you like literally 45 minutes to read it. It's called Asking. But Jerry said your job is to get the largest gift possible in the shortest amount of time possible to the greatest joy of the donor. So those first two things, the largest gift and the shortest amount of time, might make me sound like a purse snatcher, but this has to be done to the greatest joy of the donor. So, and bringing that donor joy means, getting to know them, asking great discovery questions, letting them know how their gift made a difference, how their gift is meaningful and surprising and delighting them. So when it comes to how am I going to do this? How am I going to make all this happen? How am I going to manage all this? My advice is start with the donors who are already giving to you. Start by shopping in your own closet. And I am a big fan of having fundraisers have a revenue goal and a cultivation plan for every major donor in your portfolio. So if you don't, if you just like, oh, I've got these 150 donors, I'm gonna do my best, anything can happen. And if, let's say I'm a fundraiser, let's say I'm working for Randy, and Randy comes to me and says, hey, Rachel, I got some bad news. We had a $150,000 budget shortfall, and you're going to have to make that up and raise $150,000 more in major gifts. If I don't have a revenue plan and an ask goal for each donor in my portfolio, I don't have any way to like push back. If I do, I can say, Randy, wow, that's a big shortfall. Listen, here's my portfolio. This is what all of these donors gave last year. This is my goal for what they're going to give this year. I don't have a lot of wiggle room here. What are other opportunities that we can explore to help meet this budget shortfall? So it gives you not just a strategy to be more successful with your donors, it also gives you an opportunity to be a lot more organized and have more impactful conversations with your leadership team. The bottom line is if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So this is what a sample of what a portfolio could look like, assuming I'm cultivating the cast of Peanuts, and I've got Charlie Brown and Peppermint Patty, and I have what they gave the year before, what my goal is this year. I might have them tiered like ABC. I've worked with organizations who have done tiers like A to Z. That's crazy. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it like a kid going down a slide in the park. Don't overdo it. ABC, 1, 2, 3. We don't have to make this super complicated. This doesn't replace your database. This is just, here's the 50 donors in my portfolio, or here's my 100 major gift prospects. This is when I'm going to ask them for money. This is the month, and this is what I'm going to ask them for. And what I like about doing this is that it gives you an opportunity to have some organization and some scale and some efficiency, so that you are teeing up a really successful ask. You're taking them behind the scenes. You're showing them how deep the need is. You're sending them personal testimonials from clients. They're getting like live videos. You're really teeing it up so that you know that you can be successful. Great fundraisers do a little math and calculate their retention rate. So simple math for a retention rate is the gifts from the donors giving in 1 year divided by gifts from the same donors the next year. So pretty simple math. You can look at retention so many different ways. You can look at it by dollar amount. You can look at it by number of donors. You can look at it by gift officer. You can look at it by program area. You can look at it by zip code. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to slice and dice it. I prefer that looking at it by gift amounts, because if you're trying to make an argument to invest more staff in fundraising or do more stewardship to shore up losses from donor attrition, dollars speak a lot. Dollars speak volumes. So if it looks bad, this is not the end of the world. Here's a few things that you can do. First, look at your retention and look at, when are these people dropping off? Are they making the first gift and they're not making a second gift? Are they making a second gift and never making a third gift? Like, when is the drop-off point? And this is really significant because studies show that if you can just keep donors to give like 3 gifts or over 3 years, your odds of retaining them skyrocket through the roof. They can be as high as 75%. But new donor retention is abysmal. Like 90% of first-time donors won't make a second gift. It's up to you to make those donors feel like the heroes they are and make them feel welcome and appreciated and part of something bigger so that they will give a second gift. You invested a lot in getting these donors in the first place, and it's important to keep them. So figure out when they're falling off the wagon and engineer your communications around that drop-off point. It could be a welcome call. It could be a postcard. It's only been 3 months and already your gift blank. Give them credit for something awesome that they made possible. If they're a first-time donor, call them out as a first-time donor in their communication. Let them, the greatest gift we can give our donors is the gift of being known by us. So those are a few things you can do to manage your retention. And I'm going to give you one last tip. My very last tip is have stewardship business rules. So I have a healthy obsession with donor stewardship. And what a stewardship plan is just a baseline plan to make every donor feel heroic. And I was just reading an awesome blog post by Penelope Burke this morning. Fundraisers rely too heavily on the amount of the gift as a determinant of future potential. We are under giving with our first gift. We're testing out the waters. We're seeing like what's going to happen. I mean, you don't propose on the first date. You're on your best behavior. You're testing out the waters. You're learning more about that person. The more you get to know them, the more revealing you're going to be of yourself. But there's a lot of trust that comes from that plays a role in fundraising. And the truth is, when we make a decision to hold back and not give our donors more love and attention until they make a big gift, we're kicking ourselves in the foot and we're destroying our own pipeline, because it takes cultivation by us to get them to make a larger gift. It takes them feeling like their gift truly mattered. That will inspire them to make another gift. So you are looking at the worst stewardship plan that was ever done. And this is like a stewardship plan. This kind of a stewardship plan could literally put an organization out of business. It's so transactional. You have to give, according to the stewardship plan, you have to give $50,000 to get a phone call from the president or from a board member. 50 grand just to get a phone call. That's insanity. You might be listed in the annual report if you give $500, but you're not going to receive it unless you give $1,000. This is nuts. This is a stewardship plan to put yourself out of business. It's kind of really structured around a value system that assumes that recognition is what's motivating people's giving. You give $5,000, you get your logo on something. People don't give I mean, some corporations want some recognition, but people give to make a difference. And the more you communicate liberally and meaningfully the difference the donor is making, the more successful you're going to be. So this is like a stewardship plan that I crafted. This is ambitious. I'm kind of an overachiever, but this has, I made up an animal care organization, and this has all the cultivation steps, who does it, when they do it. And mine has more love being given to new donors, because let's be honest, you spent money to go get them to give to you in the first place, and you would be using your money very, very wisely if you kept them. It cost money to get them. If you kept them, they would make more gifts sooner, and they'd make more gifts to you over time. And it's a much more cost-effective strategy than just churning and burning through all your donors. So my challenge to you is think about stewardship from the perspective of longevity. Don't think about it by gift amount. Most people are thinking about it by gift amount, and they're doing what you saw in that earlier slide, where no one gets a phone call, no one gets thanked unless they suddenly, give you $50,000. That's ridiculous. The more you welcome and nurture first-time donors, the more loyal and generous they will be to you, both loyal and generous. So I'm going to wrap up. We've got time for questions, so type them in. You can type them into the chat. I can see them directly if you type them into the chat, or you can type them into the question box, and Randy will read those later. But I'm going to give you a few digital tools just before we start taking questions. So this is the Felt app, and I really like this. If you have an iPad or an iPhone, you can use this. I was watching Shark Tank with my kids, and this couple came on, and they had gone to a dinner party together, and they were on the way home, and the wife said to the husband, "Wouldn't it be cool if we could send the hostess a card right now thanking her for that party from our phone?" And the husband was like, "Oh my God, that's like the best idea ever. Let's go make that company." And they did. And they are out of Boulder, Colorado. And so this is a really neat app. You can just, you give it access to your photos, and it can pull from your Facebook stream. It can pull from Instagram. You can write your personal messages on here. If you love stationery, like I love stationery, you can have your own stationery made with your logo for your organization. This one at the top, this cycling one, it's like this accordion thing where it pops out. Really neat, really fun, super, super affordable. But you could have a donor that came and did a tour of your organization, and you wanted to thank them, and you could send it that day by using this app. So I did a board retreat in I'm going to pronounce this right, Almanse. Yes, Alamance. Okay, Alamance, in North Carolina. And this was an amazing board. And when they want to take a photo of all of us together at this training, so I sent them this, and it's so easy. So it's very inexpensive. It's like $5 a month or $15 a month, very inexpensive. My last tip, my fundraising friends, is personalize your email signature file. Have your beautiful face on there so that when they see you at a party, they see you from across the room and they're like, "Oh, there's Rachel from Girlstart." You can also, what's cool about this too is you can also use it to promote something that you have coming up. So this person's a photographer. She's showing off her photo gallery. I train people to be better fundraisers. I'm promoting, I do all these webinars, sign up for free. I might be promoting a class that I'm doing. But you might be promoting an event that you have, a gala that you have, a golf tournament that you have, a donor cultivation event that you have, an open house. It could be anything, but it's totally free. It costs absolutely $0, and it is a really nice tool. So I'm going to turn this over to Randy for questions, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have asked.
Well, I'm just sitting here downloading all these apps that you're telling me about. Here's a quick and easy one. What was the signature tool called again?
The signature tool is called Wise Stamp, like Wise, W-I-S-E stamp. It is totally free. They have this little branding at the very, very bottom of it that says like, want a cool signature like this, try Wise Stamp. So if you don't want that, then you pay, I think it's like $79 a year. It's very affordable. But it's a really neat tool. HubSpot does it as well, and they do it for free. Wise Stamp, it's really obvious like where to go to download it in Wise Stamp. And I think in HubSpot you kind of have to search a little bit, but HubSpot also has it for free.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the great information as we're waiting for questions to roll in. I just wanted to thank you, Rachel, for being here today.
It's my pleasure.
Always great to hear from you. Yeah, I'm sending felt cards now. That's such a cool app.
Isn't it? Yeah. So they got, I think, $100,000 on Shark Tank from Mr. Wonderful, and Mr. Wonderful.
Oh, wow.
He was like, I want this for, he's really into the bridal market, and he felt like this was a game changer for the bridal market. And I think it is, but I think it also is really great for the philanthropic market. And a lot of times people ask me, oh, should I use this for everything? And it is just a quick, easy, fast tool that you can use to immediately thank somebody. I wouldn't use it over, like, say you print out Christmas cards and you send Christmas cards to, like, 1,500 donors on your list. Well, keep doing that. That's affordable and inexpensive. But this is just oh my gosh, Randy came to Girlstart and flew drones with us and the summer campers, and look at this hilarious photo of Randy flying his drone. And I send it to you and you're like, man, I love Girlstart, that organization, they're the best. It's just a way to quickly be thoughtful. Maybe you're giving donors a hard hat tour of your new space that you're raising money for your capital campaign. You send them a tour, you send them a photo of the tour of them in their hard hats. They don't have photos of themselves up every day. In addition to you being able to use whatever photo you want in the card, they also have just hilarious cards, hilarious holidays that you didn't even know existed, like Mother-in-Law Day. So it's just lots of opportunities to be thoughtful and funny. And it gives you that personal touch with, and all you have to do to get it is just like use your iPhone, which you're on all the time anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Now we've got some questions rolling in. Do you have any advice for repairing a donor relationship where the individual has reacted strongly to something you did unintentionally?
So that is an awesome question. I would just apologize. I was funny. It's funny. I was talking about the Girl Scouts, and I had a Girl Scout council who was like, gosh, we upset a donor, and what do we do? So just apologize, because once you apologize, there's really nothing more. Like, you've apologized, like you've owned it, you've taken responsibility. I would express your regret, express how, we care so much about you. This relationship is really important to us. Because of you, give them, talk about the great things they've done. We want you back. We're so sorry. Please, I would just apologize, and I would apologize generously, and and I would try your best to get that message through. It might take some voicemails, it might take some personal notes, it might take some emails, it might take several of all of those together. It might take them some time, but I would apologize. It's never too late to apologize. It's never too late to heal a relationship and to take responsibility. And that would be my advice. If they still have a deeper question around it, or if there's more details around that they want to share with you, I'm happy to answer it again or in a different way.
Awesome. By the way, woohoo for lifetime Girl Scout members. You got one of those.
Oh yeah, my daughter is going for her silver award this summer, so that's really exciting.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a new donor stewardship officer, which is one of my favorite roles to have, is being new to a place, just because it gives you opportunity to do some things that an old timer couldn't do. But what would you say is a good place to start in evaluating my organization's donors to identify who the major donors are for future cultivation?
Sure. Well, congratulations on your new job. We're both, Randy and I, are really excited for you. That is an awesome job. So I would look at your file, look at your donor history. I would say, I'm just going to give you some quick and dirty, simple advice. Pick whatever dollar amount is a major gift. It sounds like your question is, how do I build a portfolio of major gift donors? So, and if I got that wrong, tell me, but it sounds like that's your question. But so what I would do, just quick and dirty, easy advice, is I would pick whatever dollar amount your organization considers to be a major gift. For a large children's hospital in a big market, that could be $25,000. For Girlstart, it's $1,000. So you decide what is a major gift. Typically, a major gift is a gift that is asked face to face, and not through. It's not like an end of year appeal, and but you might get a large gift that way. But it's typically asked face to face. But I would pick what amount you consider a major gift, and then pull a file of how many dollars, but look at that amount cumulatively. Pick a 12-month period, and in your system it needs to be, say you define a major gift as $5,000. They need to have given $5,000 cumulatively in those 12 months. Don't just pick one gift of $5,000, because they could be a monthly donor, or they could be giving to multiple things, and the total amount might be $5,000, and you wouldn't catch it if you only put that as a single gift. So make sure it's cumulative. Say you wish that say you want to define a major gift as 5,000, but you did that and you only came back with like 50 donors. Well, do it at $1,000 and see what happens. Ideally, a full-time major gift officer who is working full-time managing a portfolio, meaning they're a full-time major gift officer and they are not also the executive director and the volunteer director and the grants manager and the program director, because that's 4 jobs that person has. But if they're just doing major gift fundraising, they could manage a portfolio of 150 donors that they are regularly managing, visiting with. So that is my advice for building out your portfolio. I would think, and I will tell, if anyone is on this call who's from a larger organization or is interested in mid-level giving, you can think about major gift fundraising as face-to-face visits, face-to-face ask. If you have a much larger number of donors and you're trying to figure out, how do I cultivate smaller donors to make larger gifts, and how do I give them care and feeding and meaningful opportunities, you might think about a mid-level program. And how you can manage a portfolio like that is using phone calls, using email, using cards, using memos, using updates, maybe even like telephone town halls or behind the scenes tours or video emails, everything except face to face to manage those relationships. I hope that is helpful.
All right. Do you think that an in-person event somehow using the getting to know you questions could work? Could you
Yeah, I
envision
love that
something like
question.
that?
I love that question. You can, yes, you can absolutely do in-person events. So you could think about it as either a donor cultivation event. You could think about it as a donor focus group. You can absolutely do that. So my advice to you in an event like that is, have a manageable, if you want to have deepen these relationships, have a manageable amount of like staff and board members versus donors. So because you want to have like thoughtful networking. So let's just say, okay, Rachel, how do I do this like you gave me all these great ideas for awesome discovery questions. And I'm having this big gala next week. What should I do? My advice is give your staff members and give your board members each from your RSVP list like 3 donors that they are going to be responsible for communicating with that night, and give them a little, like, here's here's one of your donors, Randy Hawthorne. Here's a few things about Randy. He loves traveling. His goal is to travel to all 50 states. That's on his bucket list. Here's his hobbies, a little tiny bit of information about you. And have a few questions that you want them to ask. So that would be my advice if you were like, I have a big event. How do I utilize some of this discovery? Make it manageable, and have them come back to you and tell you what happens. You could also do an in-person event. There's a woman named Robbie Healy who created this idea of a donor thought circle with 5 questions. And the first question was, what inspired you to make your first gift to us? The second question was, do you have any feedback for us on, is there anything that we could be doing better? Another question was, is there any way that we can make you feel more special and appreciated? And then the next question was, what things would make people feel more special and appreciated? And those might sound like the same question, but if I am at this party and Randy's there, if I'm at this donor cultivation event, which is kind of a smaller event, it's like maybe like a 15-person event, and let's say like Randy is like the really famous philanthropist in the room, and I'm more of like an up and coming philanthropist. And I maybe I really want a lot of personal recognition, and Randy doesn't. He's had so much personal recognition in his life. He's just, the paparazzi is always after him. And so maybe I want to say that I would love more recognition, but I just don't feel comfortable saying that around him. So that is a reason why you would ask that question. What things would make people feel more special and appreciated? Because they may not give you the honest answer when they talk about themselves. So that is some advice around doing discovery. Another really, really cool thing that you might look at for doing really great discovery, and this is fascinating, is a Jeffersonian dinner. And you can Google Jeffersonian dinner, the Generosity Network. The Generosity Network has this like 8-minute TED Talk by a guy dressed up as Thomas Jefferson at Monticello, and he talks about the recipe for a Jeffersonian dinner. A Jeffersonian dinner is a really thoughtful event with a curated guest list, with curated questions that are asked at the dinner party. And the rule of the Jeffersonian dinner is that there are no side conversations, and all of the discussion is had with everyone at the group. And it's a fascinating way to get to know people better and to do really amazing discovery with them, and to find and to reveal people who could be great board members, people who could be great donors, and people who could open up their networks to you in more meaningful ways. So those are 3, hopefully those are 3 different strategies I think could help you. The Jeffersonian dinner, the donor thought circle, and just giving your donors, like greasing the wheels by giving them here's 3, give your board members and staff, here are 3 donors that are going to be at this event tonight. We want you to ask them these 2 questions, not, like get some one-on-one time. Just talk to them when they're in line at the auction or in the cocktail bar, and if you have time, ask them one of these, and just text me the answer later or whatever.
Everyone's like, yes, Jeffersonian dinners. Or everyone. I should just say Jennifer. Let's see. We'll try one more. I think we have time for one more. Which one is it going to be?
And I'll put
we might be able to get both in.
Up. Yeah, okay. If not, there's my emails there if someone wants it. Okay.
Let's see. We are a K-8 special needs school. How do we keep donors connected to us once the child has moved into high school?
Yes. So that's, yeah.
I wanted to give you a good tough one.
Yeah. I mean, if you've done good discovery with that donor, you have found out what is meaningful to them, and you can still connect with them with what's meaningful to them, even as that child grows up. I mean, you know, I went through this at Girlstart. You know, those girls grow up, they become high school students, they go to university, they come back. We always had something that they could come back to because they could be mentors and they could be role models, and we could always be so excited for them and their milestones in their life, getting into college, choosing a major, being a role model, coming back and visiting the campers. I was surprised um, even like with the youngest girls at Girl Start, how many of them were like, when I grow up, I want to come back here and I want to be a counselor. Like they identified quickly with, I want to be a role model like these other women are role model, even at a very young age. So I would say a genuine interest in their child's life and what their children are doing. And I would just say focus on that genuine interest and their kids being successful and what their kids are doing and how their kids are doing and remembering details about their kids and um, you know, you know, improvements and opportunities to fund things that can give kids opportunities like their child had. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, I work with a youth organization as well, and finding ways to continue to engage them seems to be seems to be one way, and continuing to engage families around that.
Mhm.
All right, so let's do this last one, and then
Awesome.
I think we've cleared through the questions. Uh, this is a young nonprofit in a well-established neighborhood. So, you have any ideas for the best way to find members and donors to help support the mission?
So you could look at what are similar organizations, what are similar missions, and who supports them, and how are you different? Because that's the first thing you're going to have to answer is like, how am I different? But it's ultimately it's about networking. I mean, you have to start with um, identifying people who care about what you care about. So, how can you tap into more people that care about your mission, and how can you persuade them that you are the most powerful and efficient and groundbreaking way that they can see the kind of success fighting for what they believe in that your mission supports. So that would be, it's relationships is not optional in fundraising. It's what fundraising is. It takes time. There's no like magic button or magic potion that you can spray at a party and then everyone's going to fall in love with your mission. It's really about building relationships, and you can start with identifying groups of people who care about your cause, and how do I invite them in, and how do I let them know that they can make a difference and build those relationships.
A good note to end on. And thank you again so much, Rachel, for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course, and enjoy the rest of your summer. You've got a lot of good stuff coming ahead.
Thank you. You too.
All right, and thanks to everyone that joined us today. The only payment that we ask is that you please fill out the survey at the end of this. When you close out of the program, that would be great. But everyone is giving you accolades on the question box now. So good work, Rachel, and
Thank
thank you,
you.
everyone. Go out and do some awesome fundraising.
Woohoo.